Imagine you were in the heart of Renaissance Rome in the year 1502. The air in the Vatican halls is thick with the scent of roasted peacock, spiced wine, and something else, the metallic taste of power. A wedding is taking place, a union of staggering political importance. But instead of tender kisses and whispered vows, the atmosphere bristles with suspicion and ambition. The bride is Lucretia Borgia, the luminous 22-year-old daughter of the infamous Pope Alexander VI. Though the silk drapes shimmer and the banquet tables groan under the weight of their opulence, everyone here knows this marriage is not about love, it is about survival. And before this night is over, her marriage bed will be turned into a public stage, living evidence and her most intimate moments into a cold political treaty. This is the story of how a woman's greatest public humiliation became the crucible in which she forged her power. A tale so disturbing, so unforgettable, it will haunt you. The groom, Alfonso d'Este, heir to the powerful Duchy of Ferrara, stands at Lucretia's side. Though his armor gleams, his face is pale. He understands. He is not just marrying a beautiful young woman. He is marrying a reputation, a name stained with whispered poison, rumors of incest, and the heavy shadow of a pope who plays with his own children as if they were pieces on a chessboard. Lucretia herself is a veteran of her family's ambitions. Already a widow, married and twice discarded, her name has become shorthand for scandal across the Italian peninsula. Historians still argue whether she was an innocent pawn in her family's brutal rise or a calculating co-conspirator. But on this night, she wears a gown of cloth of gold with pearls stitched like frozen tears across the bodice, and she smiles with the practiced serenity of someone who knows her every glance is being measured, judged, and recorded. The alliance is crucial. The Borgias, a Spanish family seen as outsiders in Rome, crave the legitimacy that a union with the ancient house of Este can provide. Ferrara, in turn, desires the Pope's vast treasury and political protection. But beneath the embroidered banners and feigned pleasantries lies a grotesque condition, born of paranoia and past failures. The marriage must be proven in the flesh before witnesses. This was not a mere medieval custom of displaying bedsheets. This was something far stranger, far more insulating. Select witnesses would attend the consummation itself. This, the Este family claimed, was the only way to seal the pact and ensure the alliance was unbreakable. The Borgias had every reason to demand such a spectacle. Lucretia's first marriage to Giovanni Sforza had collapsed when her own family, seeking a more advantageous match, accused him of impotence. A public humiliation so profound that Giovanni was forced to sign a confession under threat of death. Her second marriage to Alfonso of Aragon, a man she reportedly loved, ended in blood. He was stabbed to death on the Vatican steps, and all of Rome gossiped that her father and her ruthless brother Cesare had arranged the assassination. Now, with Alfonso d'Este, there could be no doubt, no whispers of barrenness or fraud that could be used to annul the marriage later. The alliance had to be guaranteed with a form of proof that was absolute and undeniable. So after hours of feasting, after musicians and poets had exhausted their verses, the couple was led away, not to a private bridal chamber, but to a stage-set bedroom where heavy velvet curtains were parted just enough for the chosen witnesses to peer inside. A priest prayed, coughed nervously, and a marriage was made not with vows, but with verification. Imagine the scene. The chamber heavy with the perfume of roses masking the scent of sweat and candle smoke. The rustle of silks as attendants arranged the bedding with the same solemn care they bring to an altar. Alfonso d'Este, nervous perhaps, embarrassed, fulfilling his role like an actor who knows the audience is waiting. And Lucretia, poised and serene, her golden hair coiled into braids like a crown, her smile fixed as though daring them to underestimate her. What happened that night is remembered not as intimacy, but as a cold clinical ceremony. Not once, but 3 times. The act was repeated under the watchful eyes of the witnesses. The whispers rippled across Italy like wildfire. Ferrara has its guarantee, and the Borgia daughter has fulfilled her duty. Why 3 times? The question has haunted historians for centuries. Some scholars believe the repetition was a brutal legalistic maneuver designed to erase any lingering rumors of her first husband's alleged impotence. If one act could be doubted or faked, 3 could not. Others argue it was a kind of fertility ritual, echoing ancient superstitions about ensuring conception. Still others see it as a sheer, arrogant political flex by the Borgia family, a way to demonstrate their dominance over the powerful but distrusted Estes. Whatever the reason, the protocol branded itself into history. How did Lucretia survive such a profound humiliation? The answer is hidden in her resilience. After the ordeal, she did not retreat into silence or shame. Instead, she emerged, smiling, radiant, and more composed than ever. Within days, she was writing letters dripping with charm to her new in-laws, cultivating favors. She began weaving alliances within the Este court, turning eyes away from the gossip of the bedchamber and towards admiration of her wit, her generosity, her grace. The very protocol that might have broken another woman became her crucible. In that room, stripped of all pretense, she learned a lesson that would define her reign. Humiliation can be turned into leverage, and weakness can be forged into a weapon. As Lucretia journeyed to her new home in Ferrara, the story of her wedding night had already begun.
Slow, scandalous march across Italy. In the Rome of Pope Alexander VI, nothing was private. Every gesture was scrutinized. Every bedroom moment was fodder for negotiation. But Ferrara was a different world. It was not a city of brazen debauchery, but a more refined stage where Renaissance humanism flourished. Scholars debated Aristotle, and painters brushed color into frescoes that still dazzle art historians today. Yet beneath that cultured surface, politics pulsed with the same venom. Lucretia thought she was walking into a lion's den. She was not simply Alfonso d'Este's wife. She was the Borgia reputation incarnate. The rumors of poison vials hidden in her rings, the unsolved mysteries of her brother Cesare's shadowy assassinations, the bizarre history of her first marriage and murdered second husband, she carried all of it like invisible luggage into her new home. What is fascinating is how she handled the scrutiny. Instead of shrinking, she leaned into it. She became a living performance. She dazzled them with grace, offering witty remarks that hinted at a deep scholarship. She mastered the art of generosity, gifting silks and jewels, not as charity, but as strategic tools, tokens that bound the recipient to her network of loyalty. And when the topic of her scandalous wedding night surfaced, as it inevitably did, she never flinched. She met every smirk with an unnerving poise, as though daring her audience, "Yes, you witnessed my body, and now you will witness what I become." Her patronage of the arts became a key part of her strategy. Ferrara's chroniclers, who obsessed over domestic details, described her magnificent banquets, sugar sculpture shaped like magical creatures, candied fruits imported from the East, even bizarre dishes like gilded peacock. These feasts were not just entertainment, they were stagecraft, reinforcing her image as a woman of refinement who could turn scandal into splendor. She corresponded with Pietro Bembo, one of Italy's most celebrated poets, and their letters filled with longing phrases and delicate wordplay blur the line between political alliance and personal affection. Whether it was a true romance or a literary performance, the image endured, as Lucrezia veiled d'Este as muse, patron, and strategist, her influence reaching beyond politics into the very heart of Renaissance culture. And yet, behind the performance, the shadows remained. Her letters reveal a private loneliness, longing for trust in a world where everyone was an audience. Did she ever resent the Este family for orchestrating her humiliation? Did she dream of a life unmeasured by fertility charts and political whispers? The chronicles give no answer. What remains is this paradox. The wedding bed that stripped her of her privacy also became the foundation of her authority. A duchess forged in spectacle, who learned that in a world where everyone is watching, control is not found in privacy, but in performance. The years go forward, and what began as a grotesque performance in a bridal chamber evolves into something no one expected. Lucretia Borgia, the point of popes, becomes a power in her own right. When Alfonso is away at war, it is Lucretia who governs Ferrara, calming unrest and ensuring the duchy's survival. In 1509, when Ferrara faced a French invasion, Lucretia acted as the chief intermediary, leveraging her papal connections to soften blows that could have destroyed her adopted home. She was not wielding a sword, but her pen proved just as sharp. And yet, even in politics, her body remained the ultimate currency. She bore multiple children, and with each birth, her position grew stronger. The Duchess, who had been forced into 3 witness marriages, now commanded respect because she had fulfilled the one ultimate demand of her era: she had provided heirs. Her subjects in Ferrara nicknamed her the La Buena Duquesa, the Good Duchess. Imagine that! The same woman who had been accused of the darkest crimes of the Renaissance was remembered locally as a generous and effective ruler, a mother to her people. Forgotten history tends to reduce her to a one-dimensional villainess, but in Ferrara she was beloved. She died in 1519 at just 39 from complications following the birth of her 10th child. As her body lay in state, the mourners who filled the streets were not gawking at a scandal, they were grieving a duchess who had turned humiliation into dignity. And now the paradox crystallizes. The wedding band that was meant to cage her became her stage. She took what was meant to degrade her and transformed it into a weapon, reshaping herself from pawn to power, from humiliated bride to a formidable duchess whose legacy is now etched in the very stones of Ferrara. The lesson lingers long after the torches dim. Power often emerges from humiliation, strength from survival, and history remembers those who find a way to turn spectacle into sovereignty. The wedding bed that stripped her of her privacy has become her eternal symbol, not of shame, but of a terrifying and brilliant transformation.